In this video, I'm going to play an excerpt from that 7-hour Meghan phone call. It's her describing what she believes happened to Kiely. I've left out some bits that I don't believe should be out on a public platform. I will pause along the way to comment on various points, but from the outset, I want to point out two significant things, which are an indication of a made-up story. First of all, nearly the entire narrative is in present active tense. She's describing things happening as if she's narrating in real time. This indicates one of two things. The first one being a trauma response, where an individual is reliving an event. You will, however, note the total absence of any indication of any level of distress as she is sharing her narrative. But instead, she seems to be reveling in the attention and at times somewhat amused or delighted by her story. The other instance when you are likely to see an inappropriate choice of tense in a narrative is when they are fabricating a story. They will use present active tense because they are making it up as they go along, and as such are visualizing the story as they tell it. Another important thing to note is that her narrative isn't linear. She's not describing events in a sequential manner, as you would see, were she recalling actual events, but instead she jumps around with her narrative and, even at times, manages to contradict herself, having already forgotten what she said earlier in the same conversation.
She set up the party, apparently. She would climb over things. She didn't fight anybody. Sam's not going to fight Kiely. Kylie's going off to Yale. They're not going to fight each other.
No, they're not going to fight each other because Kylie's no longer around. Note here, she's not saying they did not fight each other. The tense is wrong. It doesn't agree. She's talking about a future event, which we know isn't going to happen.
But they might have watched the fight, but they're not going to fight each other.
Here, she flips between two different tenses. They might have watched the fight, past tense. They might have done that, although she's saying not necessarily that that's what happened. But then she goes straight back to present active tense. They're not going to fight each other.
And then Sam says that she's drunk because everybody says she's falling down drunk. She falls in a hole. Someone takes our car keys after she falls in the hole, saying you're too drunk to drive. Someone else then says, oh, there's guys at the entrance that are, and she texts her mom and Sam.
All still present active tense. And note here, she's starting to get confused as far as the sequence of events.
Or she gets out of the car from Sam, goes in the party. Sam says, I'm not going home with her because she's drunk and she needs to stay here. Evan's here, and her friend is parked right next to her. They'll watch after her.
The narrative sounds more like someone who's watching something and narrating as it happens. Evan is here. No, Meghan, he wasn't there when you were telling that narrative. We know that this narrative so far is all bullshit.
And so then Kiely comes back to her car and realizes she doesn't have her car keys. What is your number one thing that you need in your life as a 16-year-old?
Yeah, you
need your car. You need your car.
Yeah.
And to charge your phone. She doesn't have her car keys. So she goes back and gets her car keys. Now she's created a scene because she wants her car keys back. She now can't go drive by because everybody now knows that she's created a scene trying to get her car keys back. Got her car keys back. Everybody says she has her car keys. That's what Sam heard on the phone when she talked to her. I asked Sam, I said, did she have enough to charge her phone when she got in the car? She said no, she only had less than 5% on it.
It's really, really interesting here that the one thing that is in past tense is her saying that Sam said that Kylie's phone only had 5% on it. When was that, Meghan? Was that after Sam took Kylie's phone?
She texted her mom text goes through, Kiely goes in the water.
Once again, a change of tense. She texted her mum. We know that. There's no arguing that. And then she says, the text goes through, she goes in the water. We know that didn't happen. This is made up. She's not using past tense here. We also know that she texted her mum far earlier than when her phone stopped sharing its location, and subsequently, half an hour later, went completely off the grid.
Who's near Kiely at this moment? Evan?
Right.
And
2 boys. But if you listen to this, no one can see her. No one knows she's there. So that's what I think is what happened, is that she got pissed off. And she's like, fuck this. I'm going to go sober up over here, wait till it clears out over there. I'm going to climb in my back seat and listen to music, and I'm going to chill back here until I can get home and charge my phone. She turns off the phone, so it pings there when she turns it off or when she plugs it in.
She turns her
When
phone off.
she doesn't turn it off, she plugs it in. She plugs it in and it turns on. The charge comes on. The first time it came on, even off, it still pings.
I'm sure in her head, Meghan thinks that she's making some sort of logical argument here. But we know the facts as they stand. Kiely texted her mum. Then at 12:03, her phone went off grid, as in location was turned off. And then at 12:33, the phone died completely, suggesting that the ping came from turning her phone on when it was off is illogical. First of all, that would have then given a location again, had the ping been after 12:03. What Meghan is trying to convince us of here, while speaking in present active tense, does not agree with the facts that were given to us by law enforcement.
Wow.
She then hits, and so then she climbs in the back, knocks her car in from neutral to, or from park to neutral when she's climbing in the back.
I'm telling you, there is no car made. I already researched it. There is no car.
No, I saw it somewhere. I saw it somewhere. They said it was either on AWP or Nick said it.
Actually, it was Bullhorn Betty that said it. And she was speculating. You heard a story said by a not-so-credible creator and decided to use it as your own.
That her car, the neutral's in front. Only car made like that.
I researched it. There is
Only
no
car made like that.
Only car made like that. Oh my God, what a load of bullshit. The picture in front of you is from the official Honda website. That is a 2013 Honda CR-V. Note the configuration.
That's the only thing I didn't understand.
It's not possible.
Precisely, Shan. It's not possible because it's made up.
And the only thing that confuses me. That's why that's what I've been trying to find out.
Honda.ca, which is
Aiden has an CRV.
But Aiden's is U.S. made.
No, they're all made. They're all here. We have thousands of them here. When I pulled over, when I had to look for her license. When I pulled over, when I had to look for her license. When I pulled over, when I had to look for her license.
When I pulled over, and when I had to look for her license plate. I think right here is some major leakage. Meghan, is this where you were talking about being the first person on scene again? And is this why you knew about the sticker on the back of the car? And why say you were looking for her license plate as opposed to you were looking for her car? Meghan, do you know what happened to Kiely? If so, how about if you speak up? Do the right thing.
What Kiely's pap made sure to make note of is the VIN number when you
Okay, whatever.
search it.
It's still fine. It's still fine.
Okay, whatever. It's still fine. As in, you just got proven wrong and you need to move on. Try and avoid admitting that you actually just got called out.
She doesn't. So then she thinks she puts it in park and only puts it in neutral because she's pissed off. She has to charge her phone. She just got her keys back. She's going to sober up because she just texted her mom.
Change of direction in the narrative now. So she's still going with trying to say that the car got put out of gear. She's still talking about things happening in present tense.
I'm going to charge my phone and I'm headed home. I'll see you when I get home. Climbs in the back, says I'll be home in 45 minutes. Climbs in the back because there's some fight going on the other side. Climbs in the back to sober up because she's away from the party because she got her keys back and they all know she's drunk and she fell in the hole.
To you.
I love how she throws in at the tail end and she fell in a hole because she knows she heard that said somewhere, but she can't fit it into her narrative. She can't remember where to put it in her narrative. So she just randomly throws it in when Kylie's supposedly in the back of her car.
Is even if she kicked her own car into neutral, it's not going to pause.
Okay, what if she didn't kick it into neutral?
And here we go again, changing tack because she realizes that Shan isn't buying her bullshit. So now she's got to come up with a new version of the narrative to try and be more convincing.
What if she did, you have to remember, pitch black. Pitch black.
Yeah.
What if she thought she put it in neutral? What if she thought she put it in park and didn't go all the way because she's pissed off?
So now she's saying that she put it in the wrong gear because she was angry. Come on, Meghan. This is just getting ridiculous.
Okay.
And she's on a hill. And she's on a hill.
Honey, it still does not explain why her car comes down the hill.
Parking brake.
Stops at the water.
Parking brake.
It still doesn't make sense because if she hurries up and puts the parking brake
she doesn't know it's moving.
You're kidding me, right? That is so grasping for straws. She doesn't know it's moving. Of course you're going to know if your car is moving. Oh my gosh.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, so say for instance, okay, her car.
This is my problem. This is where I've been at this whole time.
Somebody foul played it, and that's why I'm still thinking somebody purposely put.
But Sam wasn't there. Sam wasn't there.
She just told us something really, really important there. Did you catch it? Before I play it again, I'll just point out a few things. Shan said somebody foul played it and they put her car in the water. She never said anything about Sam, and yet Meghan's response was Sam wasn't there. Listen again.
Somebody foul played it, and that's why I'm still thinking somebody purposely put.
But Sam wasn't there. Sam wasn't there.
So Shan has mentioned foul play. She's mentioned people putting the car in the reservoir, and it is Meghan who instantly connects that without any prompting directly to Sammy. She may as well have just admitted outright that Sammy did do something.
I'm not saying that Sam wasn't there. What I'm saying is Sam went back to help. Kate and all of them are friends.
Kate, maybe Sam went back to help to find Kiely. But Kiely wasn't there. She wasn't at the party. Or she went down that side. What if she went down to the side of the water? Because she wants to get away from everybody. She goes down the hill. Because she wants to get away from everybody. I've been there. I went down this hill.
When were you there, Meghan? Please tell us the answer to that.
So she goes down the hill, turns on her car, on the music and on the lights, so that she can sober up in the back. And then so she's hanging out in the back, and she thinks it's in park, but it's in neutral. Goes in the water, she doesn't know she's moving.
All said in present tense and in an active tense. She doesn't know she is moving. Yeah, Meghan, We're not buying your soggy bread.
That's when the girl looks over. Everybody's assuming she went down in the water from the top of the hill. But Evan is parked next to her. Evan is parked next to her and doesn't see the car turn on or leave. Where's Evan at when that car leaves?
That's what I'm saying. Where's Evan?
Evan was at the fight.
I'd like to hear directly from Evan's mouth that he was parked next to Kiely's car. Meghan is the only one who has ever come up with this narrative, and when she spoke about it then, it was all present tense. She only switched to past tense when she said Evan was at the fight. Which fight are you referring to, Meghan, that he was at?
At the top of the hill.
At the top of the hill with all the boys.
At the fight.
So he comes, and so I needed, before I dropped that, I needed to talk to Evan again. But I haven't been able to talk to Evan to see what time he came back from the fight.
So I think we can say, given that she was speaking in past tense there, that there was a fight at the top of the hill that Evan went to. There's truth in this, but she's being evasive. What fight did Evan go to? At the top of which hill?
Because if he comes back, and if I show you the next video, and I show you the text message.
Car taking a nap like everybody thinks. He wasn't napping in his car. He had his car parked to her, next to hers, while he went to a fight.
Then he came back and climbed in the car.
So she starts off again, present tense, and then when Shan tries to clarify with her that he wasn't in his car, he went to a fight, Meghan doesn't correct any of that, but she says, and then he went back and climbed in his car. She also doesn't confirm when Shan asks her in past tense about him having been parked next to Kiely's car. I believe Evan probably was at the party, but I also strongly suspect that his version of events would differ greatly from Meghan Cole's version of events.
Climbed in whose car?
His car. But he doesn't know that Kiely might be sitting in the car, just pulling out or doing whatever. Or he thinks it's Kiely's car. He also got 3.5 hours worth of interrogation. Why did he get 3.5 hours interrogation? Why has no one brought that up?
Just say, for instance, somebody accidentally caused her to get a concussion, is what I'm saying.
We all have had concussions.
Okay, but when you fall
They all play sports. They're not going to put her in the water.
How do you make the leap from someone getting a concussion to saying they're not going to put her in the water? I'm sorry, but to me, that also sounds a little bit damning. Shan was talking about the possibility of concussion, not about how Kiely's car got in the water.
These kids are not going to put her in the water. They know she's going to be found. They know they're going to drain the lake.
Yes, I know that.
So they can't put her in the water because they know that they're going to, but if they put her in the bushes, they can at least say, or take her to, that's why I'm saying it can't be foul play. It has to be Kiely did it on her own by accident.
So you're saying that you don't believe the children were capable of putting her car in the water, that they would have put it in the bushes, so it would have been an accident. You're not actually saying that you don't think they were capable of harming her. You're just saying that you don't think that their way of disposing of the body would be to put the car in the water.
Because I know for a fact, if someone got hurt badly, Evan's calling 911. Evan already showed me he would be calling 911 from the accident. He doesn't care. If someone's hurt, he's still going to make the right decision to call 911. So none of these kids would have still called 911 or put her off to the side in a bush somewhere and let her go off a cliff.
They would have called 911 or put her off to the side in a bush somewhere or let her go off a cliff. What?
And her windows were down.
That's another thing I'm saying. Kiely was always a girl that got freezing cold.
Right. So what if she goes into the water and she is sleeping? She wouldn't know if she was up or down. And then she gets cold, tries to come up because she's like, oh, crap, I'm going underwater. Once the water hit, she wouldn't even have known she was in the water.
She hasn't even tied that part of the narrative together whatsoever. She starts by saying the windows were down. Shan responds with, but she was always cold, meaning, why would she have the windows down if she was a cold person? To which Meghan speculates that Kiely must have been asleep. When you're sleeping, you tend to feel the cold even more because you're not moving. It doesn't make any sense what she's just said there. It seems to me that very little of what Meghan has said in this account is actually truthful. So you've got to ask what the end game is. I think it's obvious. I think we're going back to her trying to create a narrative which basically evolves around events occurring after Sammy left. And yet, in the middle of all that, when there's speculation of foul play and someone putting Kylie's car in the water, she names up Sammy.